EFL Championship season is bubbling at the top of the table with the likes of Burnley, Sheffield United, and of course Sunderland, all competing to go up to the Premier League. But who is the best manager in the division? Is he one of those high-flying contenders, or is he languishing in the middle of the table? Well, I'll tell you who I think coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're going to rank each and every one of the Championship managers from hit to bloody shit, and we'll get to that in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe button. You want to stop shop for Championship, Blackburn Rovers, World Football. We're going to all here under one rooski. That's right. Yes, we have those big boys flying high, but are the real superstar managers, the dream managers, actually in those top table positions? We'll take a look at it in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. A big shout out to the members. You know who you are. Now, before we jump into it, I want to tell you how we're going to grade these managers. There's three criteria that I'm looking at for these managers. They are success, or should we say success/failure, being one of them. Are they regular suckers? Do they always lose? Are they not much credence to the name? Meanwhile, experience. Have they won club wonders, or have they been around the block a little bit? And then, of course, appeal. You know, we're looking at Wayne Rooney. He's got a bit of appeal, hasn't he, because of his track record as a player. So those three categories will be the decision makers behind the scenes. So let's jump into the Vortex and tell you who I think. Now, I am going to come at you with a bit of some curveballs here. I've thrown in some caretakers, and I've even thrown in the recently fired Mark Robins for because I think it's unjust that he got sacked. I don't want to tell you where I think about him anyway. But again, he has been fired. That's, of course, a couple of days old now. But I wanted to put him in the mixer because I think he deserves himself to be ranked. So I'm going to start with one of the big boys. That's Daniel Farke. Of course, got a nice track record with Norwich. And, of course, he has dabbled with other footballing jobs around Europe with Borussia Mönchengladbach. Didn't really work out there. But right now, of course, he had Leeds on the verge last season, but couldn't get it right in the end. But I do think if you had a draft, he is up there with the best of them. So I'm going to put him up there in the A bracket. Now we're going to have a few names in the A bracket at the end of this, and then we'll rank one or two and push them up into the S as we go. Meanwhile, Chris Wilder, of course, at Sheffield United, he does what he does. But if you're Sheffield Wednesday, or if you're Birmingham City, or if you're Blackburn Rovers, you know, would he get the same success out of that? Probably not. You know, there's certain managers for certain clubs that really just fit. You know, Nathan Jones for Luton Town just fits. Chris Wilder and Sheffield United just fit. But he's a bit of a failure for Middlesbrough, a bit of a failure for Watford. So, yeah, I'm gonna give him a little bit of a wake up call here. He's a good manager for Sheffield United, but is he good outside of that? No. Mr. Farke has proven good for Norwich, and he's proven good. Next up, we have a hot shot manager here, which I think is you know, his stock is on the high despite a bit of a blip in the season currently, and that's Carlos Corbejan. I think if you were to do a draft, he would also be one of the top 5 names you would pick, if not maybe the top 3. I think he's a good coach. I think a lot of big clubs were looking at him. I think Burnley were considering him in place of Mr. Parker at the start of the season. I'm putting him up there alongside Farke. I think they're definitely in the right spot. Next up, we have Wayne Rooney. That's right. Don't get me wrong. One of the best players that ever graced the pitch. Got a great appeal to his name. But is he actually a manager? I don't know. I think he's got this Plymouth job, but a lot of it on his merit from his performances as a player, his appeal. I think it's a good fit. I think it's an interesting fit because Plymouth are not going to be there or thereabouts. So Wayne Rooney will be, as long as he's dedicated to the cause, this will be a good project to see if he can actually cut it as a manager. He's had a couple of cracks at it. DC United being one, Derby being another. No real successes to Birmingham as well. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I'm going to put him as a manager as a D. I think you know, right now he's running on fumes of his playing career, but this is make or break for him. If he could keep them in division, I think he can make it as a manager. But right now he's a D. Next up, we got Tom Cleverley, another recently retired pro. and now looking to cut it as a manager. And he's doing all right this season. Last season wasn't great. He was the draw king last season. Of course, if we want to judge Watford where they are, they're doing great. But does he get me off my seat with excitement as a coach? Definitely not. I put Cleverley a little bit better, though, than Rooney, and I put him into the C bracket. Next up, we have Tim Waltner of Hull. Of course, as of recording, Hull haven't played their last game, but he could be in the firing line as one of the next managers to go. I think this could be actually an interesting international window. I think we could see a few of these coaches being cut off today, and this guy could be one of them. I'm putting Tim Waltner into the D bracket. He came with a bit of pedigree, but what we've seen of him so far is not good. And I'm not grading this on points per match and all this kind of stuff. I'm just on my categories here: success, experience of the people. Yes, he has a bit of success and a bit of appeal elsewhere outside of the EFL. But again, when we're doing a draft here, this is how the cookie crumbles. I'm not going to go for Wayne Rooney. I'm not going to go for Tim Waltner. I'm more likely to go for Tom Cleverley. That's the way I feel. What about this guy? This guy's difficult because he's got a bit of a stigma about him. His matey boy Scott Parker gets promotions. He does get promotions, but with the understanding that the football might not be great. He has Burnley in the playoffs as of recording. He could have them in the top 2 as of recording, but right now I'm reading a lot of Burnley fans want him out. I think it might be a little bit hard done by, a little bit critical on him. And again, he does seem to have better success with the southern clubs. I was quite surprised him taking a move up north. I don't think he's, definitely his first managerial spot up north. He did have a little dabble with European football with Belgium, with Club Bruges, or one of the powerhouses over there. I don't mind him, but I probably would have had him as a Rovers coach. But right now, yes, he's got success, but I'm putting him in the B alongside Wilder. I think he's got something wrong about him. It probably costs a penny as well. Next up, another coach who's under scrutiny and probably could be out on the air. He might even be out on the air before this video before I even press stop to record. He might be fired. I'm recording this on the 9th of November, fresh off the back of a 5-1 stuffing from Middlesbrough. It's Ryan Edwards, formerly of Watford, did shit over there. Now he's here at Luton, got them promoted, and now, of course, got them relegated. And now they are languishing in the bottom end of the table here in the Championship. I think he's on borrowed time. I really do. I think he will be gone this season. Is it now? Do they stick with him? Do they have the belief in him? They'll turn it around. To be honest with you, I don't think so, because if you look at Coventry getting rid of Mark Robbins and they still had a little bit of fuel in the tank, I think he's gone. I think he's going to go. So would I want him? Of course I would want him. I think he's still got a bit of points in the bag. I think he's still got his stock is high, and I think any club who would lose their manager between now and January will be looking at Ryan Edwards and go, if he becomes available, let's get him in. So I think despite him being down there and Luton struggling, I would take him. I'd take him right now. I'll put him in a B. Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Next up we go Reggie Liberty. Now this is a difficult one because they are, towards the top end of the table. But if you turn the clock back a couple of years, Valérien Ismaël was a certain a manager that made Barnsley look phenomenal. On that season, you would give Valérien Ismaël a crazy B or an A or whatever. Reggie Labrie coming here, he's done great. I've got to give him that kudos. But the title wasn't won in November. They're not promoted right now. They look good. If I was to have a draft, where would I want him? Would I take him over Farker or Cobahan or Wilder? I don't know. I think it's still a lot of uncertainty. Again, it could all fizzle out. So I'm going to be a little bit more, I'll give him a little bit more giving. But, I could just drop him in the C. But I'll give him a B purely on the basis of what he's done right now. Because outside of this season, I've not heard of the guy. Don't know what he's done. Yes, I can do a little bit of digging, a little bit of Googling and find out a little bit more. But it doesn't stand out. It's not like I knew Farker was a Mönchengladbach coach. It's not like I didn't know Scott Parker had managed in Belgium. I knew about those things. I didn't have to go searching for them. So Reggie Labrie, I don't know what he is outside of a Sunderland coach. So, but he's doing great now. But that's all it is. Carl Scoberhan, Farker, guaranteed. Next up we go Paul Warne with Derby County. Again, a familiar name to the EFL. Been a few clubs, Rotherham most recently. Took the plunge and went for Derby, got them promoted. And has them doing all right this season. The home form is stellar. Away form not so much. Good, safe pair of hands. Does he get you excited? Do you run out and say, let's get Paul Warne as coach? Only if you're Blackburn Rovers. And that's the sort of stuff we would go for. But no, he's a C. Safe pair of hands. But that's about it. Another one. Outside of Sheffield United, can this guy cut it? We're talking about Paul Heckingbottom. I think he talks a good game. I think he's an intimidating coach. And I think he's got a bit of appeal to him. He's also got a bit of experience as well, but a know-how, but a nous. Again, he was a little successful. He's a good coach. But again, sometimes there's something a little off. You know, he's in a good position at Preston to succeed. But right now, the results aren't that great. The football isn't that great. I don't really rate him that much, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to put him in the C. He's an okay, vanilla kind of manager. That's about it. You know, you wouldn't run out. If you were to rush out and grab a manager out of this, it would probably be second or third attempt at grabbing somebody. Let's take him. Next up, again, this is an interim coach. He may or may not be given the job full time at Cardiff, but I'm going to throw him in there. And Omar Ritz, of course, we don't know too much about him. He did a great job in what's being thrust upon him, but you know, I'm going to put him in the C. But no, it's a C fair. You know, the players rose up, kind of stepped it up for him. I'm going to put him in the D. We can't really judge him on what it is. If he was that good, it would have surely given the job to him by now. But I think it's a gamble if they were to go and give it to him. Next up, look at this chap. He's done an absolute bits to get Millwall where they are. Of course, and again, he's... Before this job, he was managing Cambridge or someone in League Two or League One or whatever. You know, Chris Wilder, Sheffield United, it fits. Nathan Jones, Luton Town, it fits. Neil Harrison, Millwall, it fits. Yes, he's doing great for them, but would he work at Rovers? Definitely not. Put him in the C because he can't cut it outside of the den. No way. Next up, who's this fella? It is... bloody Narcius Pilic. Again, still young, still not finding his feet. Formerly of Norwich, I think, Norwich coach. And Stoke headhunted the guy. Got rid of Schumacher, went for this guy. Of course, he's had a good couple of wins under his belt, including one against Rovers. But the jury's out. Don't know too much about him. Going to put him in the C. Can't really grade him that much from his recent small stint. Let's go Michael Carrick. He's been manager of Borough a couple of seasons now. They're sticking with him, and he's doing all right. I'd put him in the B. You know, he hasn't delivered any success yet, but definitely one of the better managers. Got the appeal, formerly Man United. Got a couple of years at Borough. Will he cut it outside of Borough, though? Stock is high as well, despite him being, you know, not getting Borough promoted anytime soon. Next up, is this Marty Cufientes? I think this is Marty Cufientes. I just want to confirm. Where is his name? There he is. Yeah, recently hired. Recently signed a new big deal for QPR, which may have been too soon. And again, one of those names that could be on his way out, despite the new deal. Flash in the pan last season, exciting stuff to start. But really ended the season lower end of the table still. I think he could be up for the sack as well this season. Here he is. Mark Robbins. Just bonkers that he got relieved of his duties. Yes, Coventry were going through the mill, but League 2 player promotion, League 1 promotion, FA Cup semi-final, very close to, or was it a final? Did he get to the final? I think he got the final. I can't. You know, they were in the playoffs as well, playoff final. Very hard done by. Bonkers. He's been around the block a little bit. Definitely been around the block. He is not an A grade manager, if you're going to be completely honest with you. He's definitely a B grade manager. because Coventry was it, and yeah, he's going to be lauded as one of the best managers ever to manage Coventry, but didn't get them promoted. I'm going to put him in B. I don't think he'll be out of work long. We'll see. Next up we have, this is Luke Williams at Swansea. Did okay, pretty decent at Notts County. Got themselves promoted from the National League to League Two and had them competing as well before making the plunge to switch over to Swansea. And they're going under the radar, Swansea, at the moment. And this guy's got a lot of the credit for it. Definitely thinks outside the box a little bit with his tactics. And yeah, I like him. I like him enough to put him in a C. But that's pretty much it. Then we go Liam Manning. Let me just tidy this up a little bit here. Liam Manning, again, one of the youngsters, got highly sought after from Bristol City, formerly of MK Dons and Oxford, I think. Did great for those guys, and yeah, he's definitely one of the up and coming youngsters as well. I'm going to put him in the B category without really, he hasn't really done wonders, but I think Bristol City are in a good, safe pair of hands with him. John Mousinho, got a fancy name, kind of like Jose Mourinho, but right now, yes, he got a League One promotion under his belt, and I'm glad to see Pompey back at where they are, but realistically, I think he's punching above his weight, and it might be a season too soon for him. I'm going to put him down into the D. I think if you were Portsmouth, you would make a switch for a lot of these candidates right here in this list. So I'm putting him down there in the D. I think it's about right. John Eustace did great with Birmingham in a short stint there before being ousted. Of course, he's a footballing man. I'd love to put him in the B and the A category, but I think he's still a bit of an enigma. I'm not too sure what he is right now. Again, he's made us hard to lose against. He's made Blackburn Rovers difficult to beat, but still a lot of work to be done to make Blackburn Rovers anywhere near great again. So I'm going to put him in the C. Jonas Torup came in with a lot of fanfare for Norwich, finding life a little bit difficult in the end. He is a young coach, got a lot going on for him at the moment. A lot going for him in the future, should I say. But right now, he's scrambling to get them going. So I don't know. I think he's a C. I think he's a C candidate. Next up, we go with Des Buckingham. Done great with Oxford. I'm elated that they're here. But I was never a big fan of him. Never a big fan of him in League One. I was surprised that they got the job done over Bolton. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I still think he's a bit of a D candidate, to be fair. I wouldn't rush out and get him. I don't see the appeal. And then we'll go Danny Roll. Danny Roll is a B. I know he's got a lot of fans right now, and they're difficult to beat, but he's not as good as people make out, to be fair. And actually, when you look at that, it's quite surprising how I've gone with this, really. There's not many standout managers in this division. You could push Reggie Labrie up to an A for this season. He's done a great job there. I think Rob Edwards is going to get fired, but he's still a B grade candidate. And then Michael Carrick's also solid. But then you look at the top two there. They are the top two. And I think they could be top two by a distance, if I'm all honest with you. But I'm going to go Carlos Cobrahan is the best coach in the division. I think he is. I think he is quite comfortably. I think if you were Leeds United, you would be looking at him as your next coach. I think he was assistant, wasn't he, to Bielsa? I think he should be the next Leeds coach if they would ever. I don't think they'll go there because I think Farker will do just enough. But yeah, it's a difficult. It's quite surprising how that all panned out. But yeah, ultimately, there's not many out and out elite managers in this division. There are a few projects here. I think Jonas Top is a project. Eustace is a project. I think Reggie Labrie is definitely a project. And who else is a bit of a project? Danny, matey boy, what's his name? Heckingbottom there is a project. He could be amazing, but There's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. That's my take on the division's managers. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you think is the best manager? You've got to come in here with untinted glasses. You've got to be unbiased here. Get your fan hat off and be honest with you. If you were managerless and all the managers were free to grab, who out of this would you grab the first? That's the question I want to ask you. So make sure you do just that. Until then, subscribe, smash the like. Catch you later. We are done.